My message today, oops, I'm throwing mine around, is called A Chain of Events. Did everybody get their 3 little links? You didn't? If you didn't, raise your hand because you need them. Maria's going to bring you some. Bill didn't get them. Who else? Now these links are visual for us to see how we are all connected. And to begin with, I'd like you to choose one of your links to take off, and you're going to share it with somebody close to you, sitting next to you. Well, behind you, to the left of you, to the right of you, all around you. Did you exchange? Mark, here. Okay. You got part of Wanda now? That's a good way to put it.
All right.
I thought it was pretty wild because I know you didn't know what my message was. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, you can switch. You two can switch. You switch. Switch your links and hook it back on yours. But Warren's meditation went perfect for my message today because we are all connected. Now, what I'd like for you to do is after service, I would like for you to exchange another link with somebody after service too. That's somebody else that's not just sitting by you, okay? And the reason why I'm having you do this is because it's an exercise to remind us how we're all connected, all right? And we're connected to each other. Even though these 3 links are yours, we've given them to you and they are yours, you never know how you are connected to someone else and how that one link might just be something that someone else is experiencing or someone else is feeling. And this represents that. It's kind of a visual for you. Now, sometimes we might meet somebody for the first time and you feel that instant connection. Anybody ever have that? Sometimes you meet somebody and you don't have that instant connection until you start sharing some of your stories or you start talking with each other, and then you feel a connection. And that's kind of how like these links go, you know? They can represent an instant connection or they can represent connections along the way. But the thing about it is that sorry, I didn't even change it. There's my links, aren't they cute? Every link we have experienced in life is connected to the next link in our lives. And each link could be a decade. Each one of these links could be a decade. Or it could be a special event. Maybe you're going to say this yellow link represents getting married or having a baby or whatever. And we can look at each link also as representing our different, like representing our youth or our teen life or our adult life, different ways to look at it. But no matter how you look at these links, you can see the connectedness, can't you? And we are blessed to be a part of unity because you know, we come to unity and we can instantly feel the love and connectedness. In fact, most people, when they come to this little church, will say, I can feel the love, whether we're here or not. And if they come on a Sunday, that's the first thing they say. Oh, you guys are such a great community. You all feel connected. You all feel like you love each other. And that is really powerful and palatable. It's a cool energy that we have. Now, the thing about it is we can even allow that energy to grow more because spiritually that's what we want to do. We want to grow, right? And we can grow more when we think about taking that energy and using it to not only connect in the love and the oneness of all of us, but also we can connect through activities or classes, you know, going to yoga or going to Spiritual Rebels or coming to Dr. Anna's Tuesday night classes. We can join a team, help out with youth ed, join a team, and we might make a connection there. And in fact, the connection could be so great that you start planning other activities. The Spiritual Rebels have done that. They've planned other activities to go out and share that connectedness. And believe it or not, all of this is important because it does help our spiritual growth. And if we are here as spiritual beings to grow in the spirit of the oneness of God, then all of this is set up for us to be successful. And all we have to do is take part and be a part of the whole. And the whole is our oneness with God. The whole is what we feel when we take that breath. The whole is the thing that makes us feel no longer alone. no longer isolated or different. And we will no longer feel any kind of disconnect, but connected. And that's important. We can sit at home and we can pick up a book and we can read and we can look around our house and think, oh, I'm so alone. Nobody cares. Nobody loves me. The phone might not ring for 3 days and you think, I don't have a friend in the world. And I've seen people post that on Facebook. I need more friends. And then all these people start saying, I'm a friend, you know. And that's the thing. The connection can be there whether we are aware of it or not. All we have to do is wake up to the connection. And we all have strong connections here. You know, the thing is that sometimes we focus on our differences instead of our sameness. Because I think that if we believe in the oneness, you know, if we all came from the same oneness, why do we not feel the oneness here on earth in this physical form? And I think it is because we think about differences more than we do the sameness. I mean, no two people are exactly the same. It's incredible when you think about the idea that God has created every single person different. Even identical twins, which I'm surprised Mickey and Sandy aren't here today, but you know, they're identical twins, but they still have their own nuances. At first, you might not be able to tell them apart, but after you look at them a few weeks, you start realizing how to tell them apart. So even identical twins don't always look exactly the same. They have their nuances that you can tell is a little different. But no matter what we see on the outside, we're all the same on the inside. I mean, even physically, we're all the same on the inside. We all have beating heart, we have lungs, we have, you know, stomachs, we have, you know, all of these muscles and bones and whatever. But spiritually, believe it or not, we still are all the same. Maybe some of us haven't grown as much as the next person, but we're still all spiritually connected in that oneness of God. But what happens when we get into this idea of the oneness here on this earth in the physical form, I think, is that we get into the material world. You know, we start thinking of all the things instead of what we really need to be thinking about. You know, we think we have to have certain things. Or social media dictates to us that we need to have, you know, do this or do that or be a certain way or wear certain clothes or whatever the thing is, and we strive to do that. And if we're believing in the oneness of God, do we have to look the same on the outside? We'll never look the same on the outside anyway. I mean, I don't care what how much plastic surgery somebody even has. They will never look like what they think they want to look like. You know, it's a matter of accepting what you are on this physical plane in order to allow your spiritual self to grow. You know, peer pressure was always a strong thing when I was growing up and stuff, and I don't know if they use it so much anymore. You know, you hear more about bullying. But that peer pressure happens even as we are adults. You know, we can think we have to have a certain thing because we see our peers, you know, having a certain thing. Or we think we have to be a certain way. And really, all of that is just our personality getting in the way, isn't it? We allow our personality to become more important than our spirituality. And trying to be what someone else wants us to be or what we think we should be does not allow us to be the spiritual being that we truly are, because we're too focused on the personality and the physical aspect. We get into a mindset that is so far from the great mind, or what we call superconsciousness, or God mind. Now, would you agree that in every experience in life we are connected with God? No matter what is happening. Do you believe that? Because that's what we believe in unity. And if God is in the midst of every experience, even when we don't recognize it, which is what happens a lot, isn't it? Sometimes we forget God's there because we're not recognizing it. We're not tapping into that. Would you say that we are all in that experience? All of us in that experience. So if something's happening with Dee Dee, is it happening to all of us? If something's happening to Sam, is it happening to all of us? If something's happening to somebody over in France, is it happening to all of us? It is. It is through the oneness of God. And that, once we realize that, it changes the chain of events in our life. believe it or not. Because every event makes a link. And when we can see that we are all connected, that we all could make this big chain of links of chain and make it into an infinity and beyond because of all the people in this world, then we would see that whatever we are doing, whatever we are experiencing in this particular moment in life, somebody else might be experiencing. And how we're thinking about this experience right here, right now in life, is going to affect somebody else somewhere else. Our thoughts have power. Well, do I have it up there? I have one more. Believe it or not, we are all in the energy of every experience through our oneness with God. And this is the basis for empathy, I think. If you think about empathy as being the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, then that basis of empathy is important in our lives. When we understand and share the feelings of another person, then we can understand and feel the highest good for another person. No matter what's going on in our life, if we see that we know that God is in the oneness, then we can hold that higher good for everyone else. Do you understand that? And from Matthew 18:20, it says, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there among them." And there's our sanctuary. We just did prayer time. We just lifted people up. We just held that space for those that we might not even know. But where 2 or more are gathered is a collective energy. A collective energy that brings forth something so powerful. And this is what I say about that. There is a collective power in holding a positive thought or prayer with someone else. There is a collective power in coming together in fellowship on Sunday mornings. There is a collective power in asking other people to hold your vision or desire with you. If you have a vision or you have something you're striving for in your life, share it with somebody else. Let them hold you up and say, yes, I see that happening for you. It's powerful. It's that collective energy. And this is the collective power that unity teaches us to tap into. And it can only be done when we are empathetic with each other, when we have each other's feelings in our thoughts and in our minds. That leads us back to that chain of events that connects us all into the oneness. And every event in our life is a new link on our chain. It is a new link in our chain. And just because, again, I'm experiencing this right now, doesn't mean there's not somebody else out there experiencing it too. And we lift each other up in prayer. We connect. And we have that opportunity to connect with someone in so many different ways. And I like to say this. We can connect in a negative or positive way. Our choice. We can connect physically, mentally, or spiritually. Our choice. We can connect through love or by loving something that we are doing. And all of these connections are the links in our chain of events. So how do you want to connect? I want to connect through love, don't you? I want to connect from that positive energy, that collective energy, and allow that experience to lead me to the next experience. No matter what has happened or what will happen, we are all connected all of the time through that oneness of God. And I'm repeating this because I want to stress that point. Charles Fillmore gives us this great, and really reassures us of our connectedness in this quote from Adam Smashing Power of Mind. If you've not read that book, really read it. You can download it for free on your computer or your Kindle or whatever, but it is a great book. He says, actually, you are unified with the one living substance, which is God, your all-sufficiency. All-sufficiency. We could stop right there. From this substance you were created. In it you live and move and have your being. Can you take a breath on that one?
Yes.
You see, we are all connected. And if you believe this, do you believe this?
Yes, I do.
And it's important to know if you believe it because it is the basis of unity teachings. In fact, it has to do with the first basic unity principle, which is posted right here. There is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as my life, God the good. And again, we could stop right there. We could stop right there with all the principles of life by just knowing that and living from that principle. We don't even have to go further. But interestingly enough, Fillmore defined unity, which I think is cool, as this. Unity, universal oneness. Oh, sorry for the capitals. This particular slide puts everything in caps, and I tried to make it. Anyway, I didn't get the oneness or God capitalized, but you know what I'm talking about. Universal oneness of God, man, and all creation. The only real unity is in spirit. It is found nowhere else because personality always strives for its own success and aims for the good of the personal man instead of the good of all men. So real unity is in spirit. The oneness of God is in spirit. And when we leave our personality out of it, then we are living from the oneness of God. If we can see each and every person from the oneness of God, then we are living in unity. If we no longer see the differences but the sameness, the Christ in you and the Christ in me are one. We are all connected. That's where the powerhouse is. That is where we can get that powerhouse of collective energy and move mountains. And I truly believe that. We're doing that. We're doing it. Whether we believe it or not, we do it. And it all dwells within that Christ within. We can feel that everyone is connected through the chain of events when we realize that oneness. I love Myrtle Fillmore. Her book is another one you should just get and read, Myrtle's Healing Letters. But she has such wise words, and she says this: be on the alert to see harmony everywhere. Do not magnify seeming differences. Do not keep up any petty divisions. That means get your personality out of the way. Don't think you have to have everything like everybody else has to have. Look at your spiritual self. Do not keep up any petty divisions, but continually declare the one universal harmony. Don't you love that? One universal harmony. I mean, when you think of harmony, don't you think of just bliss? I do. This will ensure perfect order and wholeness. The Christ mind is here as the unifying principle of this race, and we must believe in this mind working in us and through us, and know that through it we are joined to the God mind, to the one mind, to the truth of all that there is. And when we affirm and declare universal harmony, we are living from that oneness of God. We are in the presence of God. We are seeing things as God sees them. And when we do this, that recognition allows us to speak truth. And our words become truth when we come from that place. It is the vehicle to bring forth the highest good for everybody. And it's important for us to think about that every day, off and on throughout the day, in order to stay aligned with Spirit and to stay aligned with that power of love, to stay aligned with that God mind, to keep the Christ mind coming forth. Love is a byproduct of the oneness of God. Why are you smiling so hard? I just looked at you and you're just grinning big. Without love, we would not even be here. All right. And from love, we can share in the oneness, knowing that it will result in happiness, good health, abundance in all areas, and it will draw to us the people in our lives that lift us up to new levels of understanding. Don't you love that?
Yes.
That's me. Sorry. Well, it's actually God through me. And from love, we can share in our oneness, knowing that it will result in happiness. Who wants happiness? Who wants good health? Who wants abundance in all areas of your life? Me? And it will draw to us the people in our lives that lift us up to new levels of understanding. That's why we come to unity, isn't it?
Yes.
Because the people here lift us up to new levels of understanding. That's what we want. Our consciousness is then transformed to a new spiritual level, and our hearts are illumined with the love that is naturally within us, and we will view and live life from the point of this illumination. We say that we are the light. Then we have to illuminate ourselves, and the activating power for that is love. We create a new basis of security in being able to think, speak, and live from the truth we know. Now, I know a lot of people say they grew up with more traditional background, and it has made them leery to speak their truth now. But once you get into truth, capital T truth, you'll be able to speak it to whoever, and you won't feel guilty or shame. You will feel secure in who you are, and that's where tapping into that oneness of God is so powerful. It is a powerhouse of energy that sustains us in all times. No matter what is happening on the outside world, it can sustain us. It can bring us peace. I just read the Golden Key the other day, again for the umpteenth time. But that golden key is focusing on God. No matter what is happening on the outside world, we focus on God. And when we focus on God, we're focusing on the oneness, and nothing else is going to rock our world. Nothing else can rock your world. Because you are in the oneness with God. Just think about that. The oneness with God. Whew, that'll take you everywhere. And the thing about it is an energy that is recharged every time we pray an affirmative prayer. I mean, don't you love our prayers here in Unity? And we say them with conviction. When we pray, we acknowledge that oneness with God. And we claim the ability that truth gives us. That ability that is allowing us to illuminate the world. And we can enhance our prayers by praying and staying connected with others. And it is our charge in life to pray those affirmative prayers. You know, I watched a movie the other day. I don't know what the name of it was, but it was about a little girl trying to help her dad. What was that? What it was? He was a drunk, and she was, and the voting thing. What is it? Anyway, but the thing that really touched me in this movie was this little girl was probably 11 or 12, probably. She helped her dad, you know, all the time, and she was really passionate about her voting rights and how people need to take, you know, and look at all this so seriously, because it, you know, it's a gift that we are given to be able to make a difference in the world. But I could tell when she was sharing, and I didn't see this in the movie the first time I watched it, and maybe it's because of what I've been talking about, but I know all of us at times feel that empathy and compassion for other things that are happening in the world, or other people that we hear that have an accident or whatever, or that are having health challenges, or even somebody having a financial challenge. We get in that place of empathy to where it almost can make us sad. Do you know what I mean? We don't go to that place of knowing that the highest good is coming forth for that person. We go to that place of sadness. And I know for me, I sometimes almost get emotional about where I want to just run to my room and cry. You know, and it's a release to do that sometimes. But other times I stop myself and I say, hey, the idea of living from the oneness of God is to see in all situations that God is in the midst and God is making a difference. And as soon as that person, you can help that person tap into that knowingness, that truth that is within them, just by holding that for them and seeing that highest good rather than seeing the thing that maybe seems tragic or sad or you know, not healthy. And so with our charge comes some responsibility. The responsibility of us to stay connected. So how do we stay connected? How do we stay connected to everybody here? I've heard people say, oh, I haven't seen so-and-so in a while. You know, what's going on? To me, when you have that thought, you know, that's spirit poking at you. That's spirit saying, hey, you can make a difference. You are connected to that person, or else you wouldn't have thought about that person. You know, when we seek out like-minded people, we're here sharing that energy, that collective energy together. And each and every person is an integral part of our life. Would everybody agree that everybody in this room, out there in the foyer, up there in the sound booth, even the nursery, we are all connected and we all feel like we're an integral part of each other? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. And that's important, because when we feel that, then we are linked to each other. We are that other link in that chain. We might be one of these links. We might see them as other links or other people, but we are all connected in that chain of events. And by sharing time together here at Unity East, we know that we care about each other, that we want to stay connected to each other, that we want to lift each other into that consciousness of new heights that we haven't even reached yet. I know I keep striving to go higher and higher in my consciousness. I think the rest of you feel that too, right? And that's where we want to go. So my challenge for you from this message is this. If you come to church and you think of someone who isn't here, pick up the phone and call them or text them or email them. Check in on their well-being and let them know you care. You know how important that is? If I think of somebody during the week, I pick up the phone and I call them. And I've had more people say to me, wow. And now I have people calling me, telling me when they're not going to be here one Sunday. Because they want to make sure that I know. And it's important for us to stay connected. It's important for us to know what's going on with somebody. It's important for us to lift each other in prayer. And all you have to do is say, hey, how's it going? That's easy. So I invite you, if you're thinking about somebody that hasn't been here for a while, or you're thinking about somebody who wasn't here last week or isn't here today, go to Judy, raise your hand. Becky, raise your hand. Dr. Anna, Dee Dee, raise your hand. They all are your wellness prayer people. They all have everybody's address, everybody's email, everybody's phone number. So you can contact one of them and get that information. Get a phone number, get an email, get a text. And whoever's sending you your wellness prayer, you can even email them back and say, hey, could I have so-and-so's email? I want to just check in them, or so-and-so's phone number. Text the person, email the person. Just say, hi, how you doing? I mean, Neva does that with Bert, and Bert hasn't even ever come here. Warren does that with Penny. She hasn't been here in years, but she still checks in every month. It makes a difference. Dee Dee, I know, does it with Linda Smalls because she lives over by her. And every once in a while I talk to Linda Smalls, and you know, we just send out that energy to people. Even if they're not here, we're still connected. We have spoken to that person, we have lifted that person up in prayer, we have made a connection, and we keep that connection strong so that we can all grow spiritually. And it's all from living from a basic principle of believing in the oneness of God. And I believe it really does make a difference. So let's say this together. I know that connecting with someone will make a difference in the lives of our loved ones as we embrace and celebrate our oneness through a chain of events. Thank you for being here today. God bless you.